History of Spring Boot. Hi! In this lesson, we will discuss the history of Spring Boot. In the previous lesson, we discussed how we should use Spring Boot for the functionalities and features that Spring Boot provides. In this lesson, we will talk about the history and main versions of Spring Boot and Spring. In 2004, the first version of Spring was released, which is Spring 1.0. The next version was released in 2006. Then the third version in 2009, 3 years later. Then the fourth version was released in 2013. After the fourth version, the first Spring Boot version was released in 2014, 1 year after Spring 4 was released. The fifth version of Spring was released in September 2017. Then the second version of Spring Boot, Spring Boot 2, was released, which basically relies on Spring 5. The next version, which is 2.5, was released in 2021. Then the sixth and latest version of Spring was released in June 2022. Then the third version of Spring Boot, Spring Boot 3, was released in November 2022. In the next lesson, we will speak about the main features and differences between the first, second, and third Spring Boot versions. Thanks.